Hey guys, welcome back to the video here on the Juice Reacts channel, and welcome to a special video for you guys. It's gonna be hopefully super enjoyable, hopefully super responsive, intuitive, informative? Yeah, that's a word. Informative is a word. And engaging. I hope you guys have a ton of thoughts and you put them in the comments so we can have big long conversations about them, because that's mainly the goal of a top 10 list. And that is what we are going to be doing today. We are doing a top 10 moments list of High School Musical, the series. You guys know HSM, the movies, the series, anything to do with it is my go-to. It's my thing. It's what I know a lot about. So doing a top 10 list just feels right. And I'm super excited to talk about this one, because this one could arguably be the biggest. This is the top 10 moments in High School Musical, the series, from season 1, encompassing everything up until episode 8 of season 4. There are a lot of Rena moments in this list, if we're being totally transparent, totally honest, and that's just because that's what this series was about. Ever since the episode Homecoming in season 1, I think that was episode 5, or was that 4? I don't remember exactly the number episode it was. I guess I could check on my list. I have a Homecoming episode on here. Where's it at? Episode 5. I was right. It was episode 5. So ever since that episode, Tim Federle even says, if you don't know who Tim Federle is, he's the director of High School Musical, the series. He says that once he saw that scene with Ricky and Gina in Big Red's car in front of Gina's house when he took her home after Homecoming, he said that it shifted. It went from Ricky and Nene as the end game to it becoming all about Rena, all about Ricky and Gina as end game. And it just took us 3 more seasons to get there, and a lot of ups and downs, but we got there in the end. So yes, this list is heavily Rena coded, but that's just what the series is. The series is about them. Yeah, you got other characters, and I've got other characters' moments in here too, but it's gonna be heavily focusing on Rena, because that's what the series is about. So if you're a fan of another Ricky relationship, like Ricky and Nene, or Ricky and whoever else you want, or maybe you're a fan of Portwell, I'm sorry, I've got a few things on here that don't involve Ricky and Nene, or Ricky and Gina, but most of it is because that's just what the series is about at this point. That's what it's about. That's what people like. That's what people are interested in, and that's what this list is really about. I will get into it. There are some moments that are just too big to ignore, that kind of like set the stage for the entire series as a whole. So we'll get into it. Number 10. This is one that I was just talking about, how it's not a Rena moment. This is actually a Renee moment. This is the big moment culminating in season 1. This is Ricky tells Nene he loves her. Season 1, episode 10. The finale of season 1. The culmination of their entire story arc in season 1, where Nene, the first episode of the series, starts with them going back to school after the summer break. Nene had just gotten back from summer camp. We later find out becomes Shallow Lake, where she starts a relationship with a senior named EJ. And Ricky, who was her previous boyfriend for a year or two, they've known each other obviously forever, since like preschool or whatever, they break up, even though Ricky doesn't technically know it's a breakup, because Nene says in a song on Instagram that she loves Ricky. Ricky sees the video, can't say it back. The relationship's over. Then Nene and EJ are a thing for like 2 episodes. Then EJ steals Nene's phone, and she can't trust him anymore. They break up. And then it's the whole rest of the season, Nene's starting to get those feelings again for Ricky, because Ricky's trying. He's in the musical. He's playing Troy. He's actually putting in the work. He's putting in the effort. But along the line, Ricky starts to develop these feelings for Gina. And we later come to know that Gina is the reason Ricky sings the song, You Think I Kinda You Know, to NeNe as his audition song to get Troy. In season 4, we find that out. So it really all comes back to Gina in the end. But the reason I give you all that explanation is, even though you probably already know it if you're watching this video, the reason I do that is to set up the fact that this is number 10 on the list, because even if you're not a fan of Ricky and NeNe, which I'm honestly not a fan of, I will be honest with you guys, I was a fan of Ricky and NeNe when I first watched the series for the very first time, but then I realized that they're toxic, they're not good, it's all about Ricky and Gina. That's when I switched, and I officially became a Rena fan. So even though I was not necessarily the biggest fan of Ricky and NeNe as a relationship, as a couple, you can't deny the moment when Ricky says that he loves her. He has this whole speech about how he wanted to say it that day in her room, and he's loved her forever, and he couldn't say it because he was in a bad space or whatever. Now, looking back on it with hindsight, we realize that he wasn't truly in love with her. He was in a really bad space. He was dealing with abandonment issues. He was dealing with just family issues in general, with the divorce of his parent or the separation of his parents. And he was he was not in a good headspace, and he just thought of NeNe as a safe option. We later come to know that, but in the moment, in season 1, without any of that other stuff in the later seasons to go off of, you can't deny that Ricky telling NeNe that he loves her is a big moment. It was the moment of season 1. There was a ton of good moments in that season, but that was the moment in season 1. Now we know it kind of gets pushed down. That's why it's number 10 on this list. But I would have felt weird if I didn't at least include it on my list of top 10 moments, because it was a moment. It was the moment of season 1. Now we know how toxic their relationship became and what ended up happening with it, with all the stuff that happened, and how it kind of gets tainted a little bit with hindsight. But in the moment, it was the moment. So that is number 10. Number 9 on the list is not including Ricky, Gina, EJ, or Ricky, Gina, EJ, or NeNe. I forgot who I said already. It's not including the core 4. This one actually involves Ashlyn. This is number 9. Ashlyn's world gets bigger. Season 3, episode number 6. This is the Color War episode when Ashlyn finally realizes that her world is expanding, her life is changing for the better, and all this stuff. She's opening up to everything else. Like it's just this beautiful moment when Val hugs her after Ashlyn says that she's apologizing for snapping at Val the whole summer because she was like dealing with these weird conflicting feelings because she had a little crush on Val and she didn't know how to respond to that. She didn't know how to react to it. She had never felt like that before. And when Val hugs her and the fireworks go off, figuratively and literally fireworks went off during the episode to celebrate Color War, that's when she realizes that her life is going to change for the better. And it's just a beautiful moment, and it deserves to be on a top 10 list of any High School Musical list, and it deserves to be on this list at number 9. I would put it higher, but there's just so much more Rena stuff that's got to be higher. So this one, it does warm my heart seeing that episode. So it makes the list at number 9. It's a beautiful moment. If you've never seen it, go back and watch it. It's great. Because then you get the little cutaway to the confessional, and Ashlyn says, "Oh, wow. Like that's what it meant," or whatever. She says something along those lines. It adds to it. It makes it better. So that's number 9. Number 8, our first Rena moment. It's come to this. This is the beginning of what we will come to know as the greatest relationship in all of television. We've got ourselves Gina and Ricky in Big Red's car on Homecoming. Season 1, Episode 5. I mean, this is the start. Before this, Gina was just this aggressive, scary, mean girl because she's the transfer student. She's trying to make something of herself at the new school, and Ricky's an outsider to the theater club. He doesn't really know Gina. All he knows is Nene and Big Red, and he's just trying. They're both on a similar path where they're just outsiders, and they say this in one of the episodes. They say this in the episode where Miss Jen is gonna get expelled or get fired, and he goes to the skate park, and Gina's there, and that they say the whole part. So this moment at the home in Big Red's car on Homecoming is really the beginning of the relationship, because it's the moment when Ricky realizes that Gina's got more layers than just what she's showing on the surface. It's the moment that Gina realizes the same about Ricky. It's the moment that they both realize that there might be a little bit more of a connection than they first thought. And then when Gina goes in for the kiss on the cheek, and Ricky, his reaction says it all. And then she gets out of the car, she goes in her house, and then Ricky, I mean, they linger on Ricky, the camera stays on Ricky for a reason, because that's the moment that it starts. Because then we obviously get the rest, and we'll get to it later, but we get the rest of their relationship throughout the series, and that is the moment that it starts. So that is going to be number 8 on the list. Number 7. I don't think this is going to come as much of a shock. I say it in my rewatch episode during Thanksgiving. This is Gina gives Ricky the homemade hat. Season 1, Episode 7. This is the Thanksgiving episode. This is the iconic scene, which has become iconic later on. This is Gina showing up to Ricky's house before they go to the Thanksgiving party that Ashlyn's throwing at her house. Right before Gina shows up, Ricky had gotten a bad call. He calls his mom, and Todd picks up. So he's all confused on what's going on. He doesn't know what to do. He didn't think his mom was going to move on that fast. And he opens the door. Gina's there. She's got her homemade cupcakes that she made from a YouTube video, because she's just the best. And she gives him, like, if you don't think that Gina was completely switched into having feelings for Ricky right after the Homecoming episode, she went home, and throughout the next couple of weeks, or maybe months, however it is, she could not stop thinking about Ricky, to the point where she went on YouTube, learned how to make a hat, learned how to knit a hat, and knitted Ricky a hat, which we later come to find out she stitched on the tag, she loved him. From there, from episode 7, she loved Ricky. She stitched it on the hat. I mean, it's hard to deny these facts. I mean, that's what they are. They're facts. So I say in the episode the Thanksgiving episode, if you go back and watch that episode, I say that hat should be put in a museum, because it's the thing that's really the tangible thing that starts their relationship. Yeah, obviously I said that the Homecoming episode is the start of their relationship, but that's not a tangible thing. I guess you could take a picture of it and put it in a museum, but the hat is a physical thing you can look at and say, this is the thing. This is the thing that is molded their relationship. This is what they're about. It's just a beautiful moment in season 4 when he realizes that in the final episode, when he reads that. And it's just, it's fantastic. It's amazing. It's great when she gives him the hat and it doesn't fit right, and she says, well, it doesn't fit, and she has that great reaction, and then he says, I'll grow into it. And it's good stuff. It's really good stuff. So that is number 7 on the list. Number 6, moving away from the Rena stuff for right now, number 6 is Courtney confronts her fears. Season 3, episode 6. This is Camp Prom. This is the great stuff that Courtney goes through in this season, where she's dealing with uncertainty, she's dealing with anxiety, she's dealing with all these different fears, and troubles and mental health problems that she's going through. She's not in the right mental health space, and she doesn't have really anybody that she can talk to other than her mom, but she can only talk to her very rare because they don't have their phones. So she goes through this whole journey of self-discovery and through these 2 weeks. And they even say in the first episode of season 3, when they get to camp, that camp changes you, and you don't go into camp the same. You don't come out of camp the same person you went into. So Courtney goes through this whole journey of self-realizing and self-realization and figuring out who she is and battling the anxiety. And she finally comes to a conclusion that with the help of Alex, you can never really get rid of anxiety. You just have to fight it, battle it, become stronger than it, overpower it, and control it to a point where you can move past it and it's not taking over your life. And that is when she climbs that tower, climbs that wall, and really breaks that thing. Now I know that in the next episode when they start the play, she's like she's still struggling with anxiety, and she's in the yurt, and then Gina comes in and they have that nice beautiful one-on-one moment where she says, just because you climbed a wall doesn't mean just one day doesn't fix everything. And that's true. So it's not just a one-day thing. So that's why I didn't put her climbing the wall as the thing on the list. I put she confronts her fears, because it's not just one single thing you can point to and saying that, oh yeah, she did that, so now she's fixed. Now she doesn't have anxiety anymore. Now it's more than that. And she still struggles with it in season 4 when she's trying to choose her college, what college she's going to go to, because that's a really big moment. That's a really big decision you have to make. And she's still struggling with it a little bit. And so it's not a one thing and you're done. It's a big battle you got to do, and Courtney starts that process. It's a beautiful moment, and it makes it to number 6 on the list. Number 5, we make it to the top 5 of the top 10 moments in High School Musical, the musical series. If you're enjoying this right now, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club if you want to see more top 10 moments in High School Musical, or if you want to see top 10 moments of another series, maybe Julie and the Phantoms. I don't know. We've got number 5, Gina puts "I love you, Ricky" in the hat tag that Ricky reads. That whole moment. That is season 4, episode 8, the final season, final episode. Ricky is trying to figure out how to tell Gina that he loves her, because Gina's mom tells him, a little uncalled for, but she does, tells him that she's got to move to New Zealand to film to star in the Romeo and Juliet film that Quinn is going to be directing, and Gina's the star along with Mac. So Ricky realized that he doesn't have a lot of time, and he hasn't said, because Gina's leaving like that night after they got done finishing the play. So he realizes, after the beautiful like goodbye speech and goodbye scene that Gina gives to everybody, she goes one by one to everybody. It's emotional, it's crazy. Go watch it if you haven't seen it already. But then she leaves, and Ricky realizes that he still hasn't said that he loves her, and he's got to find this moment. So he goes, he interrupts the press conference that Gina's having. Not really interrupts it, but he gets there, and then they go through the song "Love You Forever," and at the end they pull each other aside, and they have this beautiful moment where Gina asks if Ricky still has the hat. He says it's literally his favorite thing ever, and he pulls it out. And she says, read the tag. He reads it. It says, I love you. It says other things, but it says, I love you, Ricky. And he says, you've had this has been there the entire time. And she says, just like me. And that is the moment. That is a crazy moment. The audacity of Gina to write that in season 1 is crazy. Absolutely insane. So it makes it to the top 5 of this list. Number 4, I think we all know that this one's going to be in the top 5. This is Gina Finds the Chocolates, Season 2, Episode 3, the Valentine's episode. It's an iconic moment in High School Musical history, High School Musical fandom. We still haven't gotten confirmation that Ricky was the guy that got Gina the chocolates, but I think the consensus is that Ricky did get them. it kind of goes out the way, kind of throws a little wrench in the theory when we get to season 4 and Gina's mom doesn't know who Ricky is or hasn't like had a conversation with him, because the whole theory is, or at least my theory is, that Ricky got in touch with somebody like Ashlyn or something like that. Probably it would make more sense that it was Ashlyn because Gina was living with Ashlyn at the time, so it would make more sense that it was Ashlyn. He got in touch with Ashlyn. He said that he probably said something along the lines of, I can't really put my name on this because I'm in this relationship with Nene, so it would feel like cheating. So why don't you go ahead, get the chocolates, tell Gina's mom to get the chocolates, remember to send them because Gina needs this. She's having a rough time because she thinks that her mom forgot. So he tells Ashlyn to talk to the mom because it would be weird if Ricky just called up Gina's mom and asked and like said to get chocolates or whatever for her. So it would just be a whole weird thing. So he puts Ashlyn in the middle so it's not as weird. And then Ashlyn does it. The chocolates are sent. But Gina doesn't know this. She just thinks that Ricky got them because Ricky sends at the time, it was a pretty odd timing text that he says, thank you for the talk or whatever, you'll get your moment, because when Gina shows up to the apartment that they're in, they have that whole moment. And if you don't think Ricky had a thing for Gina by this point, just watch that scene on Valentine's Day where Gina shows up to his house, his apartment, and when Nene calls to FaceTime, he shushes Gina. Like, he's ashamed, not ashamed, he's trying to stay secretive that she's there so Nene doesn't see her. Like, I mean, come on. But anyway, we've got that part where Ricky gets her the chocolates, then Gina sees it, she reads the text, she puts 2 and 2 together, even though Ricky plays it off like he didn't get her the chocolates, because obviously he can't. He's in a relationship with another person. He can't say that he got this other girl chocolates when he's in a relationship. That'd be cheating, or on the lines of cheating. So he's got to play it off like he didn't do it, even though we all know that he did, even though it's never been confirmed. Although in season 4, when he pulls up to her house, leading to the rain kiss, which we'll get to, I think, right? Oh, maybe not actually. I didn't put the rain kiss on here. Actually, interesting. But when they lead up to the rain kiss, the scene leading up to the rain kiss, he actually has another box of chocolates in his car. So maybe that was their confirmation that he was the one doing it. I don't know. I took it like that, but it was never explicitly said like, oh, hey, Gina, I got you the chocolates originally. Like, he never said it, but maybe that was their way of doing it. I don't know. So that is number 4. Gina finds the chocolates. She gets the chocolates from Ricky. Number 3, into the top 3. This is the big stuff right here. This is Gina telling Ricky he's not a maybe. He's a yes. I mean, Season 3, Episode 8 goes down as one of the best, most important episodes in all of the history of this show because it changed lives, basically. It changed everybody's life. I'm not the same after I've seen that episode. When they cut from everybody around the campfire at camp to that screen goes black and it pops 1 month later, lives were changed. Absolute fact. You can't deny it. Because we get the premiere, we get watch the trailer, which is hysterical and crazy and wild. I wish Disney Plus would release the actual trailer, or the actual documentary, because it would be awesome to see. But they'll never do that. So, because I don't even know if they filmed anything more than just the stuff for the trailer. So when we get done with the trailer, everybody leaves because they're all shocked at what happened, what Channing edited it into looking like. Edited it into. They're all appalled and shocked and have to call their loved ones and stuff. And then it leaves Corbin, EJ, Ricky, and Gina. EJ leaves after he says, we all knew this was coming. Because everybody knew. And then Corbin leaves, and then it's down to just the 2. And Gina says, Ricky's like, we got to find a way to get this taken down. How are we going to do this? And she says, we can't. And then he starts to like walk away. He turns around, he walks away. And then she says, I didn't. And then Ricky turns around, he's like, what? And then she's like, I didn't know that this was going to happen. She says he was never the plan. But plans change. You're not a maybe. You're a yes. And at that moment, people had out-of-body experiences. I know this because I had one myself. It was an unbelievable thing to hear, an unbelievable thing to see. And she says, unless you stop, she's going to walk out this door feeling confident that she just gave, she said her feelings. He knows where she stands. She knows where he stands. Or she wants to know where he stands. So she says, if you don't stop me, I'm going to walk out this door with my head held high. And he stops her with it, holding her arm. And then they go in for the kiss, and that's the moment. I mean, are you kidding me? It's unbelievable. That he's not a maybe, he's a yes is beautiful. It's chef's kiss. It's perfect. Number 2 is a recent one. It is Can I Have This Dance? The full scene from season 4, episode 3. It's magical. It's just unreal. I still haven't fully recovered from it. If we're being totally, completely honest, I still haven't completely recovered from it. When they start, you can just feel the chemistry. You can feel the tension when Gina's reading those lines and then she starts to sing. I mean, they have the whole moment where Miss Jen reads the part where you have to, you take the pause, and then Gina and Ricky are just staring at each other, like just, it's unbelievable. It's undescribable. It's why I'm struggling to say what I think, because it's just undescribable the moment that they're in. And then she starts to sing, and then he starts to sing, and then Ricky gets up, he takes her hand, and they have this whole choreographed thing, just like Troy and Gabriella do on the rooftop. And they sing Can I Have This Dance? And it's one of my favorite songs in the entire trilogy. And it's one of the best songs in the entire trilogy. And it's just a beautiful moment in the movie. And it's I dare to say, even better in the show, just because the character of Ricky and Gina, I feel like, are better suited for that song other than Gabriella, more so than Gabriella and Troy. Maybe that's a little controversial, but I think that's what it is. And then they go around the room and they're doing the waltz, and they're hitting every step in stride, and they're in tune with each other, and it's a beautiful moment. Everybody's in shock that's watching around, because that's what you would be. And then Ricky says that they stayed up to 3 a.m. choreographing and rehearsing it and stuff. It just makes it even better. It's a wonderful moment. I watch it almost every day, if we're being totally honest, just that scene, because it's fantastic. And now we've reached number 1. I think you can kind of already guess. I've already mentioned it. I think you can kind of already guess what number 1 is. The number 1 moment, the top moment in the entirety of High School Musical, the musical, the series, is Ricky finally kissing Gina. Maybe you think that I should have a different moment on there, like maybe the season 4 kiss, after they get done singing Love You Forever. Maybe that is a more impactful moment, but to me, the season 3, episode 8 kiss, right after she's starting to walk away, he stops her, and you know that they're all in. Because at one point, I know on Ricky's face you can kind of tell that he was waiting his entire life for her to say these words to him, but there's always this little slight doubt, at least in the back of my mind, that, oh, he's going to let her walk away, he's going to screw this up again, they're going to build this tension for another season and stuff, because they want the drama. But nope, they subverted all of my expectations, all of my thoughts, and they pulled the trigger, they went for it, he stops her, and then the kiss happens. And they get the Rena cue. It's powerful, it's unbelievable, it's beautiful, it's great, and it's the top moment on my list. I hope you guys enjoyed this top 10 list. I've got big plans for top 10 lists in the future, so I hope you enjoyed it, because there's going to be more coming. If you guys, like I said at the beginning, if you guys have any thoughts on this list, if you think I ranked something too high, if you think I ranked something too low, if you think I omitted something that should have been on the list, if you think I had something that shouldn't have been on the list, feel free to comment. That's what these lists are about. There to engage with other people, to have these conversations, to have these fun debates about what moments are bigger than what things should have been on, what things shouldn't have been on. That's what these are about. So this is just my list. It's my opinion. If you have a different one, that's totally fine. Thank you guys so much for stopping by and watching. I truly appreciate it. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, join the Juice Club. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.